Walking and Rolling Costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
Is going to take the victory 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's going to get through it all and score his first career win.
Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
The Lady in Black, the track Too Tough to Tame. A racetrack known for its high speeds and wall riding line. It's narrow, it's fast, turn to wall. Most likely going to cause a crash. Live here tonight from Darlington Raceway in the second to last race of the regular season. It's the QSR Simulations Next Gen Cup Series live on V-Speed. Well, you've been with us throughout this entire season. You've seen some ups and downs. You've seen some drivers come and go, but the one consistent thing is it's win and you're in. And for these drivers, this is a racetrack all its own. A unique situation, and if you love this place, you're going to enjoy this one. But most drivers do not like coming to Darlington. It is a hard track to drive. It will give you a stripe at some point. These cars will brush that outside wall. And it's going to be hard for us to all sort it out of turn 2. Everyone's going to be up next, riding that fence all the way around this place. And, you know, as far as the racing line goes, there's 2 ways around this place. You can diamond the corners, or you can run all the way up next to the wall and come out low. Passing's just, I mean, it's going to take a mistake to get around somebody. I think a lot of these guys, it's hard to make a clean pass. You almost have to rely on drivers brushing that outside wall. And we'll take a look here at our track map. Darlington Raceway opened September 1st, 1950, and the intention of this racetrack was to have the bottom line be faster. So cars were supposed to go on the bottom, but people started running up top and found out that it was a lot quicker. They could carry more speed with the banking up there. And so that part of the racetrack was utilized, and pretty much nobody has used that bottom. There was an exception there in the mid-2000s where cars were going below that with the COT. But ever since this next generation stock cars come out, the top is fast again, and it is difficult to stay down there off that wall. Who's going to get the Darlington stripe? I would assume everybody in this field. Now looking at the schedule here, 2 races left, and this is throwback night, September 30th. So Darlington Raceway going to have some classic paint schemes on these cars. Already looking here with Wyatt Walker. He's in a throwback of Kyle Busch, and yeah, a few of these drivers themed throughout the field. But Kentucky Speedway, the last race, October 7th, before we hit the round of 16 for the playoffs. That's starting with Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And then we'll throw a super speedway in there at Talladega and give a little bit of a asterisk to the playoff format. Drivers could advance to the round of 12. We could have a driver that hasn't won yet there at Talladega. But most likely we're going to see a repeat winner through this one. And we'll take a look at the points. This is actually after race 9, so the week prior to Bristol, where we had switched the schedule from Rockingham. But Bradley Wilson had the points lead. I have not got official review on where these drivers would line up, because some of these guys are still on the Sim Racer Hub in the top 20. So none of this is really official. I haven't updated that points graphic because of that reason. So it's kind of hard. I would assume Alan Dobbs would be your points leader. He has had the second most wins there. And Blake Iglio, Bradley Wilson, of course, disqualified here. But you have Dylan Picklesheimer in the top 3 now. Brantley Bryant is going to be out. Tay McDonald in here. Al Likens, Jason Blaney, Johnny DePasquale also in this mix. Jesse Gordon getting a victory there last week. So a lot to unpack here. Let's take a few moments here and pull up one of those drivers that is in that top spot in the points. So these guys still out here running qualifying times, but I think we have Alan Dobbs and Cavalier Racing. We'll bring the driver of the number 54 up to the broadcast booth. Alan Dobbs, it's Bradley Cooper. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Alan, I know that things are sizing up for another successful season here at QSR. You are the defending champion as of last year, and now it looks like 2 races left in the regular season. This is a track you get around well at.
Yeah, I have a lot of confidence in this track. I mean, it's easy to get put back in the pack with tire strategy and different stuff going on. So if that happens, you know, who knows what might end up happening. It's pretty sketchy getting through traffic, but hopefully we can stay out at least top 3 here, and maybe have them on the long run if they get around us early.
And this track, of course, updated, recent refresh here since the last time we were here at QSR. We've got a 3D fence, but we've also got a rescan. Did that change how you handle this track at all?
It definitely feels different. I haven't done a lot of practice. These are my first laps that I've put on the new rescan. The car's really, really tight, and that's not really something I'm used to here. Usually it's a little bit freer, but I have a feeling it's going to be really rough for people back in traffic. So that's what we're going to try to stay out of.
Well, you're starting on the pole here tonight. Good luck, Alan. Anybody you want to shout out real quick? I'm sure we'll be talking to you post-race.
I just shout out to all my teammates at NCR, Red Line Racing, Tier 1 Network, you guys for the broadcast. Appreciate it.
Cavalier Racing driver, Alan Dobbs, first in points on the top spot. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
So there you go, talking to our pole sitter. Before we get this one started, let's take you trackside now and get the grid up on your screen. We just talked to him. He ran a 28.761 to put it on the top spot. Jesse Gordon is going to start to his outside in the 110. Man, Jesse Gordon's really turned up the heat here as of late. Wyatt Walker and his throwback Interstate's battery Chevrolet, I do believe, is Chevy Camaro on that. And Ryan Philbrook in the 06 clean cut. He will start in 4th. Austin Thomas, 5-hour energy. Dylan Picklesheimer looking like a Casey Kane throwback. Maybe even a Chase Elliott throwback. I think that's actually what he's going for there. He'll start in 6th. Al Likens in the Goodwrench number 3 will start in 7th. Quentin Stewart Aflac on the hood. He'll start in the 8th position. And rounding out your top 10, it's a Ricky Craven throwback from Tristan Pena. Beautiful. Johnny DePasquale will start in 10th. Kayla Wunsch will start in the 199 in 11th position. Finley Fitzsimmons will start in 12th, the Wonder Bread Machine. Then you have Brent Allen in the 13th with Nathan Line in 14th. Davis Greenwell, 15th position. Mitchell Costner will start in 16th. Then you have Tony Bernlingson, Jeremiah Nelson, rounding out your top 20 with John Walker and Ethan Wisnowski. 21st spot is going to go to Christian Ruck Regal. Austin Downey starting in 22nd. And rounding out your 23-car field here tonight, electing not to take a time, it's the number 40 of Fred Pennington. I believe some EOL penalties here tonight. There was penalties handed off here on this race. I'll have to go back through my listing here. But there should be an EOL penalty for Austin Thomas, Fred Pennington, Galen Wunsch, Killow for an incident EOL as well, and Nathan Line going to start towards the back of this field. While we still have a moment, we're gridded up. We're going to bring another driver up into the V-Speed booth. And this is personally my favorite paint scheme that I'm seeing on this racetrack right now. He's got it themed around his iconic motorsports, but that is definitely a 50th anniversary paint scheme if I've ever seen one. So we're going to find Team Hypersport driver Tristan Pena. Tristan Pena, it's Brownlee Cooper in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Beautiful paint job, by the way, for Throwback Night. I just wanted to shout that out real quick. It might be the first time I've seen somebody take the Ricky Craven 50 car and throw something on it.
I really appreciate it, man. I took a lot of thought in really what I wanted to do, and this is definitely a pretty nice paint scheme I got here. Hopefully keep it in one piece and finish this one out with a good finish.
Darlington is iconic for making cars not as pretty as they start these races. What's it take to get around this place tonight, Tristan?
It's definitely going to take a lot of patience, and because if you're not going to be patient, then you're more than likely going to be up in the wall with wheel damage.
Team Hypersport and Iconic Motorsports on that machine. Anybody want to shout out real quick, Tristan, before we send them off?
My mom and dad, because they're watching me right now.
Alrighty. Well, that's Tristan Pena in the number 50, and we'll send him off here from the 9th position in just a moment's time. But it's Alan Dobbs on the top spot. Jesse Gordon to the outside. And we'll pace around here one time. Just over a mile. 1 1/3 at Darlington Raceway. Turns 3 and 4 a lot narrower than 1 and 2. We've discussed that before here on V-Speed with the minnow pond. You should look up the history on Darlington Raceway as we're about to create some more here tonight. Here we go for another live action race. Second to last race of the regular season. Underway with Alan Dobbs, green flag. Here we go. Mightily lap 1. He was confident this week, and it will be Alan Dobbs getting the first lap led. Coming off of turns 1 and 2. He's got a pretty big gap back here to Jesse Gordon and Wyatt Walker. Dylan Picklesheimer was trying to make a pass for a position back in 5th spot at the start of this. Al Likens actually got around and is up 2 positions already from 7th spot to 5th. The top 5 right now for that Intimidator number 3. And another beautiful looking throwback. I think these guys should have picked a theme for just 90s NASCAR. It would have been incredible to see all of these cars out on this racetrack. I don't know if there was an 06 back then, but I'm sure they could have found something to fit that. And, throwback night's always one of my favorites. It's nostalgia at its best. And I think I'm at that age where I still want to live in that. Glad they brought the Generation 4 stock car back to iRacing, and that's kind of what everybody was dreaming about back then. That was the top tier of NASCAR, and we got a car sideways. That's the 13 of Brent Allen down the backstretch. He slams the outside wall, chases it down to the bottom of the racetrack, but he hit that safer barrier hard, and that will trigger our first yellow tonight. This will be coming out of 1 and 2. This is down the front stretch, but you'll watch with the 13. He's by himself. Just pushes up the racetrack a little bit here and can't really pull it off. Gets sideways, hooks it the right rear into the wall. And I'm not sure who that is stuck behind him. I think that's the 48 machine of Jeremiah Nelson, who got trapped behind him. Nowhere for Nelson to go. You see the 20 of Greenwell able to sneak by just barely, but Nelson not able to do so. And that will trigger the first caution here tonight. Dobbs remains your leader through the first 5. And we were talking about turn 2 wall, but it's usually hitting it after you exit the corner. This particular incident, car got loose, snapped the right rear. It's usually the right front that they hit them with, and maybe that's why the 13 got so loose. He was trying to keep it off of that wall, and maybe a little bit too much wheel into it. These tires were still cold, and of course the weather on the track right now, 73 degrees. So that's not going to get the heat in these tires as quickly as it normally would under daylight conditions. Plus, track state probably around 30% usage. It's going to take a while for this to grip up and, up towards that outside wall. The marbles, of course, also a factor here on the iRacing simulator. You can get debris on your tires. And it's almost like a cushion at a dirt track here at Darlington because there's not much room for those marbles to build up. They'll build up within about a 5 to 6 inch gap there on the edge of that wall. Drivers could get that right front tire in there just trying to wall ride, and it'll take a while for that to clean up as well. Unfortunately, iRacing hasn't implemented the jet dryers into the service yet, so not a good chance that we're going to get debris cleaned off of this racetrack. Would be cool to see. First thing I want to see on iRacing is I want to see full animated pit stops for all of these drivers. I don't know what it would do to frame rates. I don't know how they would implement it, but I think it would just be really cool to see all the pit crews, even if it was just a cheap animation, you know, something that just gave that sense of pit crews working on the cars. It doesn't have to be detailed, doesn't have to be 3D modeled. Just something static image could even be cool with cheap animation. I think iRacing has waited long enough to do such a thing, and hopefully, I know they've talked about engine updates and art updates, but that's just one thing I think would help with the immersion. And then ultimately, maybe when cars blow up, guys getting out of the car. That would be another just a little cheap trick, I think, that would add to the immersion. But iRacing focuses more on the driving than the visuals, and that's why it is the most realistic simulator ever created. iRacing.com, you can check them out. Been doing this for over a decade. Alan Dobbs on the outside. Let's get him going again. Second start of the day here at Darlington. Stage at lap 36. And here's the race analysis on the bottom left-hand side of your screen as there was a checkup on the inside line. And Jesse Gordon able to sneak away from that. We have changes for positions all over this top five. Al Likens taking advantage as Ryan Philbrick seems to be the one that made the mistake. And here comes Picklesheimer to try to capitalize on it as well. Oh, an 85 into the wall. Wyatt Walker right in front of the 06. And they're crowding up here. Likens is sideways. In 3 and 4, Galen Wunsch. Everything fell apart while we put the race analysis up on the screen. What happened to Wyatt Walker? He got destroyed on the outside wall. Gonna be going into 3 and 4 where this all goes wrong. Tristan Pena able to go low and avoid this, but Likens was not. Just got snapped loose. The 3-car bounces off of Likens. The 06 of Philbrick. There's Galen Wunsch in the aftermath. They just squeeze really tight here. Philbrick had came back straight, and there was nowhere for Wunsch to go. I don't think Galen Wunsch actually hit anyone. He just kind of slides through there unscathed. But who really got the worst end of this? And I would say it was Ryan Philbrick in the 06. We'll back this up one more time. But you can watch on the gyro cam. Again, this is how fast it happens. There's nowhere to go. Everyone's up near this outside wall, and it's maybe 2.5 cars wide, and there it is. A blown engine for the 85. And they just continue to pile in back there. Second caution with a loose handling race car. And a few drivers down pit road now. You have Philbrick, Nathan Lyon, Christian Ruck-Regal, Thomas, Allen, Likens, and Walker. Walker probably going to be down there for the remainder of this race. Second caution. Watching from the middle of the ocean tonight. Let's go SDR. Middle of the ocean. Which ocean? I'm going to assume the Atlantic. Not very many, unless you're in Hawaii. Or on a boat. If you're on a boat, you have incredible internet. Typically not the case when you're on a boat on the ocean. Be careful out there if you are in the Atlantic. I know a lot of storms are popping off. A couple named hurricanes that are waiting off the East Coast. I don't think they're going to affect anybody. Maybe some rain, but I don't think we're going to have any direct impacts with land. But just be careful out there, Brittany. So you confirm that you're out there right now. Stay away from Bermuda. I know there was 2 storms right there off the coast of Florida, and one's just sitting there stationary. I don't know if that one ever picked up and moved. It's just an ever changing situation. We're in peak hurricane season, so you never know what could pop up. Seems like peak hurricane season here at Darlington. 2 incidents within the first 10 laps. The first of which, Wyatt Walker now added to that list. But we had the 13 get sideways just a moment ago. And it's the 54, the command car again. Green flag back underway for the 3rd time at Darlington. So Jesse Gordon trying to chase down Alan Dobbs. He got out to a great start in the last 2. This 3rd time, not as good of a start. But it's the dirty air, and I know this is affecting this 110 a lot. Watch here on the onboard with Jesse Gordon. And you can see he's trying to change his line and stay out of the wake of that 54. It makes it a little easier to keep that car on the bottom of the racetrack when you do that. He's actually gained a little bit of time. That last time by, he was about 6-7 hundredths of a second faster than Alan Dobbs. He gained, but this time off of turn 2, he gives it back. Side by side with Pena and Picklesheimer. Kristen Pena looking for 3rd on the number 9. And you're staying right on that back bumper. And you have 1.7 back from the lead, but just a couple tenths separate him, Picklesheimer, and Quentin Stewart in the 5th spot. And again, this goes back to that restart. A lot of cars took advantage of the situation. And on the left-hand side, you can see positions gained or lost. Pena up 5, Fitzsimmons up 6, 8 spots gained for Burleson and Nelson. And then it's Dowdy in the 8 car with the most spots gained for Throwback Night. He's up to the 12th position in the number 8. Check back in here with Austin Dowdy as he continues to make his moves through the field. And we'll take a look at what I believe, yes, typical 5-hour energy paint scheme. It's Mitchell Costner just ahead of that in the 92. And this has got STP all over it, but it says Richard Patty. Can we get a better look at this? I believe that's the Burger King on the hood of an STP car. He's always got a unique sense of humor here. Richard Patty. Never seen that. Student driver on the hood or back deck lid of that as well. Alan Dobbs continues to lead. About 0.2 of a second, holding steady as we are 2/3 of the way through stage number 1, coming up on lap number 20. Still holding on to this lead, but not by much. So looking for a battle on this racetrack. Not a lot of passing going on. A lot of single file. The closest battle right here with, I believe that was the one, yes, of Johnny DePasquale. He has Davis Greenwell in front of him. Greenwell a little bit higher up the racetrack. DePasquale Looking to the inside for a moment there. And he's going to get right up on the bumper in 1 and 2. Gets him a little arrow loose. And now he's going to let him go. Di Pasquale getting loose. The 20 gets loose as well. He's chasing it down the racetrack. Greenwell saves it on the backstretch. Will stay green. Great save there. Let's take it back on a replay and watch the onboard. Dab on the brakes, able to keep it off the wall, but now the caution's out in real time. The 9 of Picklesheimer's around out of 4. Got loose all on his own here. You see it starts to sail on him. He chases it up the racetrack. It continues to get loose. Touches the apron. No contact with anything. But slides down out of turn 4. We'll ride on board with Tristan Pena. Take a look here. On board with the 50. Watch this 9 stepping out. Pena sees it, checks up, tries to give him a chance to... And just before that yellow is thrown, I believe the 99 of Quentin Stewart had gotten by him. So that'll put Stewart up to 3rd. So Pena ends up staying in the same position. Fitzsimmons gains 1 out of this. This will put Tony Burlington and Jeremiah Nelson up 10 spots. The 8 of Austin Dowdy. A little bit of damage on that right front has fallen back to 17th. He was riding up around the 12th position. He was our biggest mover of this race. But that will now be given in a tie between the 79 and the 48 machine. About 10 laps to go here in stage number 1. Don't go anywhere. More coverage will continue from the track. Too tough to tame. Darlington Raceway. Back with more on V-Speed right after this.
Walking and Rolling Costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
Back here live at Darlington Raceway, we've had, I believe, 3 cautions here tonight. Most recent one there with the 9 of Dylan Picklesheimer getting loose out of 3 and 4. Alan Dobbs has led every single lap thus far, and the number 54 machine looking confident. He'll continue to lead all the way to lap 27. 110 of Jesse Gordon now has company with Quentin Stewart. Fitzsimmons, Tristan Pena falls back to 5th. Johnny DePasquale now up another position. The 1 car on the charge here for stage points. Coming up to the end. 10 to go in stage 1. Gonna look to the inside of Tristan Pena. Continuing that charge for another spot to the top 5 for DePasquale. And now downshifting for the 50 car. We'll look at the telemetry of Tristan Pena using all of that gearbox. Down to 3rd gear, it sounded like. We'll have to wait and see. He's going 5th gear through 1 and 2. Let's see if it's just 4th gear, maybe down to 3rd. Definitely a downshift. Trying to get that car to rotate. Cars side by side. That's Dylan Picklesheimer trying to race his way back to the top 10. He's got Austin Dowdy just in front of him as they come off of turn 2, all over the back end. Now looking to the inside for 11th. Nathan Line is checked out, though. He's about 2 seconds ahead, and Dowdy into the wall. Picklesheimer not able to avoid it, and the 8 car is going to stab the brakes. He saves it. Heads up driving by, I believe that was Fred Pennington, who avoided getting into the back of him. But Dowdy back to 19th now. '88 of Fitzsimmons, putting the pressure on Quentin Stewart. Less than a 10th separate him last time by Fitzsimmons. Identical lap times with your leader. 29.623. Put those lap times up on the screen. He's a little bit faster than Stewart, but Jesse Gordon was 0.2 faster than Alan Dobbs in these closing laps. That cushion there, the clean air, helping some of these guys. Tristan Pena starting to gain a little bit of time that last time by. He's on his way back towards the top 5, but he's running out of time here. Top 5 in the stage. Still good points. Looking at the gap between the 54 and the 110. Pretty spread out here amongst the top 5. Austin Thomas with Jeremiah Nelson. Battle for 7th. When I say battles, these cars within a 1/10 of a second. Usually that means that they're within striking distance if that car in front makes a mistake. On board with the 48. Two laps to go in stage number 1. As soon as that 54 crosses the stripe, no move yet here from Thomas. Nathan Line still in the top 10. Picklesheimer has it down to 0.8 of a second, but just doesn't look like there's enough time here. And we'll get the white flag this time around for the end of stage number 1. So far, so good for the Red Line Racing 54. Alan Dobbs gets the white flag for stage 1, and he's got a pretty sizable gap back to the 110 of Jesse Gordon. Coming off of turns 1 and 2. No mistakes here. And after stage one, I would assume everybody's going to come down and take one of those 3 tire sets available here tonight. Alan Dobbs going to snag stage one in the second to last race of the regular season. Top 10 on the left-hand side of your screen with Dobbs getting the stage one, Jesse Gordon, Quentin Stewart, and they were pretty spread out all the way through this top 10. Nobody really made a pass. Fitzsimmons, Pena, DePasquale, Thomas. Looks like Thomas did get around Nelson there at the end of that, so we'll have to go back and take a look at what happened there. Let's see if we can back this up enough to see where the 35 made this pass. This would have been right along right there, a mistake from the 48, and there's the pass for position. This would have been white flag on the stage. And the 35 gains one more spot just before the finish line. So pit stop's about to be underway. One of the toughest pit roads to get on and off of here. A few cars staying out for waiver rounds. Alan Dobbs leads them in with Gordon, Stewart, Fitzsimmons, and Wisnowski. Wisnowski actually going by to stay out 15 laps on the stint here. And it looks like the 35 who got that last pass there missed his pit box. Austin Thomas goes by pit road. He's going to have to come back around. Down and away for the 99. He just might pass the 110. He will. And now Quentin Stewart is going to move up a position. 4 cars staying out on the racetrack. Austin Thomas most likely going to come back down. There's Christian Ruck-Riegel. The 5 of Wisnowski and the Terry Labonte HendrickCars.com throwback. And we'll bring a driver up here into the broadcast booth. Driver, I don't think we've heard on V-Speed before. Let's get a word with Fitzsimmons. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, I know we're getting set to double back up right here, but so far so good. You started in 12th. You worked your way up to the top 5. 88 looks bad fast tonight.
Yeah, we had some great pace there running to the stage, taking the tyres. We're going to baby the tyres now for a few laps. Get stuck in and see how farther up we can go.
Well, anybody want to shout out real quick? I know we pulled you in up here a last-minute interview, but anybody come to mind?
No worries, yeah. Just a shout out to Austin and League Evans for putting this on, and everyone for keeping it relatively clean as Darlington standards go. So it's been a good race. Hopefully we can have a good race for the end.
Finley Fitzsimmons going to restart here in 7th in the Wonder Bread 88. Good luck.
Thank you.
So getting ready to count it down. The pace car pulls off, and 15-lap old tires for the command car. Could see some wheel spin with this front 2 rows. 35 of Austin Thomas did not bring it back down into the pits, so he is now committed to this stint. Wisnowski, green flag, back underway, stage 2 at Darlington. Challenge for the lead already coming off of turn 4. Davis Greenwell going to lead his first laps of the day. Started in 15th. He's on a little bit older tires. 18 laps on this stint, but he has a little cushion back here as these drivers with 4 fresh ones try to work their way through this top 4. And you already can see a couple of them have fallen out. Ethan Wisnowski getting worked in the 88. We just talked to Fitzsimmons. Minimal damage. He saves it, but he's going to bleed about 20 positions here. Back to 20th for the 88. Watching back on our QSR Simulations instant replay, you can see side by side with Johnny DePasquale, the 48 to the inside. Watch the, maybe gets loose. I don't know. Car hits the wall. I think that was the one of DePasquale. We'll watch onboard one more time real quickly. Got into the back of the 33, unfortunately. We go back to the live shot. It's Jesse Gordon trying to get by Nathan Line. Tristan Pena also working through traffic, going by as they brush the wall through 1 and 2. That's actually 3 and 4. Correction on that. But a clean pass there. Looks like Costner and Burlington got up into that outside wall. The 5 of Ethan Wisnowski. After staying out, he's already lost about 9 positions. He was the command car. He led 1 lap. Now hanging on to 10th. There's some side-by-side with Rug Regal. He's also in that boat of staying out. Pushes up the racetrack, gets a little loose. Picklesheimer just behind. And a big lead out here to 9/10 of a second as Austin Thomas and Alan Dobbs go at it. Thomas has been able to hold off the 54 so far, but now he's loose on his own. And there it is, the 99 of Quentin Stewart not able to avoid him. 35 car up into the outside wall. And the 48 is totaled. Jeremiah Nelson. Watch here with the 35. He's going to go into 3 and 4. He just snaps free on his own. 99 of Quentin Stewart has nowhere to go. And then the 48 rather, also pinched alongside the wall. Everyone else able to avoid it. Nathan Lyon almost took himself out there. Watch it back one more time. On board with Quentin Stewart. Here's an onboard look with the 48 of Nelson. That breaks the left front suspension on that machine. And unfortunately for Jeremiah Nelson, that is day-ending damage on that car. But with the 35 getting sideways, that opens up the floodgates for Alan Dobbs and some of these fresh tire cars. Quentin Stewart, DePasquale, and Jesse Gordon. All on 4 fresh ones compared to Davis Greenwell. He has 24 laps on this stint. I would say about 20 of those under green. Dobbs only has about 8 laps up to speed. It's about a 12-lap difference here on tire usage. That means a lot here at Darlington. It'll take another probably 15 to 20 laps to level these tires off, and maybe Dobbs wouldn't have so much of an advantage but he'll be to the outside of Greenwell for this restart. It's going to be a tall order for Greenwell to hold him off. The track position, very important here. Might be able to hold on to it. Let's wait and see as we approach that halfway mark here at Darlington. Alan Dobbs, your stage 1 winner, going to be to the outside for this restart. Quentin Stewart back in third. Di Pasquale, Jesse Gordon, Picklesheimer, Pena, Line, Burlington, and Lunch for the top 10. Fitzsimmons, who was sideways earlier, back up to 11th. Pace car out of the way. 6th time today, we're going to hit the loud pedal. And our 4th restart of the night. Greenwell into turn 1. Back underway at Darlington. Johnny Di Pasquale gets a little bit loose there through 1 and 2. He tagged the wall. He stays side by side for the top spot. 54 of Dobbs hangs it out there. Greenwell able to defend it just enough off of turn 2. He's going to charge again here off of 4. Greenwell uses every inch of that exit wall. As they scatter back here outside the top 3. Dylan Picklesheimer trying to make a move on Jesse Gordon. Jesse Gordon gets around Johnny Di Pasquale. And Quentin Stewart hanging tight with the 54 of Dobbs. Dirty air on that 54's nose seems to be hurting him. Very impressed with the 20 of Greenwell so far. Dobbs hasn't been able to get to his outside or inside just yet. But here off of turn 4, it looks like he's got a big run. For the lead. Alan Dobbs not able to do anything with it still. Getting a really good run off of the corner. He'll get to the outside through 1 and 2. I don't know if that's where he wants to be, though, with this 20 car, a little bit older tires. He might push up the racetrack. He's going to try to hold him down here off of turn 2. He will get by. Into 3 and 4, he clears Greenwell. Back to the top spot for Dobbs. But still really impressive there. Greenwell led about 10 laps under green. That is tough to do. That many laps on your tires, he's still hanging pace with these top 5. And push up the wall just a little bit there. Lose a 10th. This will put Quentin Stewart next one in line. Jesse Gordon following through here. See that shallow entry into turn 1 as we ride on board. Got a double dime in the corner for Jesse Gordon. And now the entry of 3, not quite as low. Lets it slide up the racetrack, down back to the throttle. Pulls that right rear out, hangs it out. Makes the car turn down towards the inside, and a big run, perfectly executed. He'll give a little shove there to the 99. Might have got on the brakes in time to not push him through the entry of 1. Lifts off the throttle again. And doing a perfect job of getting around Darlington in the 110. Now we'll move to the inside. This is for third. Gordon will go by. He'll use the apron to clear the 99. Jesse Gordon going to try to set sail and catch up to Davis Greenwell next in line. It's 1.2 seconds back now for the 20 car. He's electing to run that much lower line, maybe to help the heat in those tires. Already at a disadvantage with the age. Don't want to wear them out any faster than you have to. The clean air for Dobbs is going to let him pull away. Might as well change up the line, save your stuff for when the 110, the 99 get here. Did a fantastic job defending against the 54. I see no reason why the 20 can't hold off the 110 and the 99. So a split here for the top 10. Tristan Pena and Johnny DePasquale just traded positions. Not sure if the one car made a mistake there off of turn 2. See if we can go back right quick and find the replay. Actually, a little bit of a blinking issue for Pena that alerted me that he had made a pass. So I guess just a connection error on iRacing's part through the field. And watch this 50 of Pena now working on the 9 of Picklesheimer off of turn 4. Here he goes. Oh, wow. The 9 of Picklesheimer closes the door hard. Almost turns them both. Close call there off of turn 2. Or into turn 1. 50 car had the nose there, and the 9 just acted like he wasn't even outside or inside. Didn't give him much room there. Fitzsimmons back up to 7th. He's starting to gain on these two cars as well. Johnny DePasquale going the wrong way, back to 8th now. The gap back to Galen Wunsch is about 2.5 seconds from this top 8. They've branched off that much, and it's Sterling Burlington and Nathan Line, 10th and 11th, back here. Alan Dobbs approaching lap traffic now. I believe that is the 92 of Costner, who's going to get down out of the way. Gap continuing to grow. Here's a battle for second. Greenwell trying to hold off. Jesse Gordon across the line for lap 67. 66. And the 110 will complete that pass at the halfway mark. Just past that. Perfect opportunity here on V-Speed to find those volume knobs. And let's crank it up. Get a noise complaint. Presented by MSR Performance. And just as we hit the crank it up, the 38 of Nathan Lines around. We're going to continue on. Alan Dobbs continues to lead here on lap 72. Jesse Gordon, Davis Greenwell, second and third. Quentin Stewart trying to catch up to the 20 car for a podium finish. Tristan Pena on the back porch in the number 50. He's been fast today. Been in the top 3 a couple times. 50 car trying to complete this pass off of turn 4. Can't get it done. Look again here off of turn 2. He's going to have the nose there for a second. 99 going to move up the racetrack. Can Pena complete this pass? Stay door to door. Out of 4. Across the line by a nose for Stewart. Also have Picklesheimer looking to make a move in the background here. Off of turn 2. This is going to be tight. Pena gets loose. Still can't complete it. Oh, and Fitzsimmons puts the 50 up into the wall. I think he hit it on his own at first, and the 88 kept him up there. Pena got held up by the 99 for a while there. He tried several times to get around him, but now has fallen back to the 6th position. Tight racing amongst this group. Greenwell able to pull away while the 99 and the 88 will go side by side. This is allowing Davis Greenwell a lot of breathing room. You can see Costner pulling down to let the 20 by. Stewart was on the way there just a moment ago, but now the gap is 1.5 seconds. Far down pit road, that's Dylan Picklesheimer to start green flag pit stops. Just about 40 laps left here. You see Nelson, Dowdy, and Walker still getting service to these machines. Pretty much done for the day for Walker, and it's John Walker in the 84. Wyatt Walker out of the race. Brent Allen early exit as well. Jeremiah Nelson, Austin Dowdy. Mitchell Costner still trying his best out here. The gap between first and second over 3 seconds. And then another 4 seconds back to Davis Greenwell. Quentin Stewart back on offense, shaving away a little bit here. Has it back underneath a second. And Greenwell now going to peel it down pit road. Gets it down to pit road speed limit right here, 45 miles per hour. Philbrick also into pit road in the 06. Another one of those cars that's a lap down now. It's had some problems. Dobbs continues to stay out. Might have made a little mistake. He might be out of fuel. He was clutching it. He gave up a ton of time to Jesse Gordon. Just before he hit pit road, he might have been trying to come in prior to that. I don't know exactly what happened here to the 54 of Dobbs, but it looks like he might have tried to come down pit road a lap before and gave up that massive lead to Jesse Gordon. And now Gordon's going to follow suit, bring his car down pit road. Let's see if we can find exactly what happened here that put Alan Dobbs so close to him. That gets up even more. You can see here, Dobbs has a massive lead. I mean, it was huge. It was over 4 seconds. Here he's going to tag the wall. He's going to get loose. That's what happened. He got sideways in 3 and 4. And that's where all of that ground went to Jesse Gordon just before pit stops. He still was able to pit from the lead. But as it cycles out, Jesse Gordon coming back out onto the racetrack now. There's Dobbs coming out of turns 1 and 2. Jesse Gordon has a chance. No, it's not close enough. Gordon did not get down and off of pit road fast enough. But still, he made up a lot of ground, has 1 lap advantage on tires. And it's Finley Fitzsimmons leading his first laps of the day. A lot going on during these green flag pit stops. 35 laps left. Would assume that everybody up in this top 3 is going to have to bring it down pit road, although Austin Thomas is a little bit better on the strategy, as is Fred Pennington. You can see the last pit laps for some of these cars on the last pit stop lap, left-hand side of your screen. It could go about another 10 laps or so. I'm not sure if you'd want to play that strategy. Some of these guys that are outside the top 10 to start this race, Fred Pennington started all the way at the tail end of this race in 23rd. So maybe take a chance and stay out. If a caution does come out, you're in a much better situation. It's the 110 of Jesse Gordon. He's about half a second back now from the driver that will most likely cycle out to be your leader. Nathan Lyon keeping it down low. Nobody else down pit road just yet. Still stretching out this run. 50 laps. Galen Wunsch approaching for the lead. He's 2/10 back from the 88 as we go into 1 and 2. Austin Thomas in 3rd position. I mentioned there a moment ago, he's got 42 laps on the stint. He could go a ways, but he has Alan Dobbs. It seems like every time that 54 car gets in that mirror, the 35 hits the wall. Riding on board with the 79 of Burleson. He made up a lot of ground there after the 35. He did hit the wall. This will be a pass for 3rd. Burleson trying to let the 110 by on the exit of turn 4. Jesse Gordon ends up losing a couple tenths there from that. And the 35 car on the clutch pedal. Trying to save as much as he can. And a closing speed for the 110. Jesse Gordon almost got into the back of Austin Thomas going into 3. Burlington down the backstretch. Not really sure why he entered on the backstretch unless he thought that was pit road. Something wrong here with Tony Burlington. He might be out of fuel. Well, that might be a V-speed first. I don't think I've seen anybody use this pit road before. This is the old pit road from back in the late 60s. And Tony Burlington used it. Watch right here in a 1. He's going to drop all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack. And he's going to try to use the backstretch pit road. This used to be the front straightaway. But it is rough down here. I mean rough. And he realized very quickly there are no pit boxes down here. Able to get the service, but he loses about 2 laps. Fitzsimmons still out on the racetrack, has Galen Wunsch and the 54 of Dobbs trying to unlap himself here. Up on the back bumper of Galen Wunsch. Wunsch very courteous there. Fitzsimmons off of turn 2. Holds his line. Trying to hold the 54 of Dobbs a lap down. You look up in that mirror and you see the 110 starting to catch up. Dobbs knew he had to go now. Jesse Gordon going to look to the inside here and try to get a 2-for-1 through 3 and 4. Can he do it? Not quite, but he's within half a second now of Dobbs. And these cars will have to come down and pit. They don't have enough fuel to make it to the end. Into the wall hard here for Fitzsimmons, right on board, looking back at Jesse Gordon. And for all that ground that Gordon made up, now he's lost it to Dobbs again, over half a second. Gordon's still not able to make the pass. Jesse Gordon on the radio, not happy with the 88 at this point. Trying to keep his cool, but letting him know, hey, I'm faster, I'm a lap down. I pitted 15 laps ago. I've got a 40, 50 lap advantage on tires, and I'm trying not to run you over. Finally lets him go. I know the situation. Fitzsimmons wants to keep this lead for as long as he can. But you run the risk of these guys, the closing speed that the 110 had. There's a couple times he had to lift off the throttle because the 88 was brushing the wall or had a shallower entry to keep the car on the bottom of the racetrack, and cost him a lot of time. It's going to end up putting Dobbs 1.5 seconds ahead. And even after that mistake, Dobbs had tried to come to pit road cleanly and made a mistake at 3 and 4. Car went sideways. He was able to collect it just before the 110 got there. Thankfully for Dobbs, he had that massive lead. He was able to pit from that lead, get back out front into 8th position right now. And Jesse Gordon-Davis Greenwell. Greenwell came down on that strategy as well, and he is about 4.5 seconds ahead of Dylan Picklesheimer, who would cycle out to the top 5. Greenwell having his hands full as well. It's Tony Burlington that went by on the inside. Fred Pennington running in the 4th position, still out here on the racetrack. 65 laps on the stint. We'll let the 20 of Greenwell go by on the inside. 17 laps to go from Darlington. Second to last race of the season in the regular season. And Fitzsimmons has now led 22 laps as he comes across the stripe. Well, right on board. I don't think these drivers can make it 80 laps on the tank. I think that's a major stretch. At this point, they've made their bed. They're hoping a caution comes out. What a strategy it would be if they do pull it off. Be another moment here on V-Speed where I've been wrong before. Based off the numbers that I was given at the start of this race, 73, 74 laps is about the max you could make it. And that'll put them about 10 laps shy. That's a pretty major stretch here. Closest guy that has a realistic chance of making it is probably Ruck Regal, Wisnowski, and Likens. They could probably go to the end of this thing. Heavy damage here on Likens' machine. But he could still end up with the top 5. I think Fitzsimmons is going to have to pull it down pit road. He's been out there for a long time, coming up on 70 laps on the stint. He is in that window. And again, that sits around that 2 or 3 lap mark of, you got to bring it in. Still no takers. No one's blinked in this top 3. Austin Thomas still holding on back here. Fred Pennington in 4th. It's going to be a top 5 day for him if they can make it all the way to the end of this thing. But Dobbs is on the way. He's about 25 and a half back. Ethan Wisnowski has caught up to Christian Ruck Regal for the top 5. 2:10 separate these drivers. $11 to go. Ruck Regal really had to lift out of the throttle there off of turn 2. Wisnowski checked up for him to not run into the back of him. Might have thought he was going to hit the outside wall. 10 laps left. Driver's looking pretty committed to this. This would be about a 7-8 lap stretch on fuel. From the numbers I was given to the numbers I'm seeing right now, it looks like they might have been a little bit off by a couple laps. If it's within that 5 lap mark, that is doable. I've seen drivers stretch the run out 5 or 6 in this next gen. This track, 1.3 miles, definitely doable. Eight to go at the line. 74 on the stint for Fitzsimmons. He pitted on lap 39. It looks like he's going to run it out to the end here. I don't think he's coming down pit road. He's going to run it out of fuel before he does that. Change for position. Fred Pennington has to bring it down pit road. He's not going to make it to the end. What does that spell for the rest of this field? Fitzsimmons stays out another lap. Unfortunate for the 40 of Pennington. And here comes Fitzsimmons down pit road. So now it's maybe Austin Thomas as you see the 20 of Greenwell going by on the inside, not for position. The 35 of Austin Thomas has Shiloh LaBeouf in the background saying, just do it. He has the most realistic chance of this top 3 with Galen Wunsch staying out one more lap. 4 to go when we cross the line. Wunsch down pit road. 77 laps for Wunsch. He stretched it out. And Austin Thomas is in the perfect situation. Ethan Wisnowski and Christian Rockriegel looking at a top 3 finish if we stay green to the end. Dobbs back up to 5th. Now to 4th. Jesse Gordon, 2 tenths behind him, has chased him down. Tristan Pena back up into the top 10. 3 laps left for Austin Thomas to get it done. There's the 88 on the outside who came in and just topped off with fuel. Fitzsimmons still going to salvage the day in 8th spot. 2 laps left in a fuel strategy race that Austin Thomas is going to look to wrap up. He's got the green screen. He wants a green flag all the way around here for these next 2 miles. He just has to take that white flag and it will be official. Austin Thomas off of turn 4. White flag in the air. 35 car is going to seal the deal with a 12.5 second lead over Ethan Wisnowski. One more time here at Darlington. And a fantastic strategy to come in and top off with fuel. 72 laps on these tires. And for Austin Thomas, he could run them another 10. Here he comes off of 4. Austin Thomas is going to add himself into the playoffs. Win and you're in at Darlington. in the celebration here. 35 figured it out. Ethan Wisnowski and Christian Ruckriegel with the top three. Alan Dobbs raced his way back up to fourth. But your stage one winner, the strategy did not work out for him. He's able to hold off Jesse Gordon for fourth. And burning it down here on the front stretch. Post-race interviews with your top three, those final race results. Another winner adding himself to the round of 16 with a guarantee. Austin Thomas pulls off the strategy. Week number 11. Back with more coverage on V-Speed right after this.
Walking and Rolling Costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
Is going to take the victory 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's going to get through it all and score his first career win.
Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to our post-race coverage of the Next Gen Series for QSR Simulations. The Win and You're In format has added another driver to the list, with Austin Thomas pulling off the strategy and getting the victory here tonight. One of Goons 160 at Darlington was a phenomenal show. It came down to strategy, and your Stage 1 winner here tonight, not able to get the win. And then no for Alan Dobbs. It's just another day at the office, another top 5 here at QSR. Let's bring up those final race results and that race recap. 5 cautions, 7 lead changes. 4 of those coming in those final laps of the race. Austin Thomas, Ethan Wisnowski, and Christian Ruck-Riegel for the top 3. Excellent day for those drivers. We'll get a word with them with live camera feeds in just a moment's time. Alan Dobbs, your stage 1 winner, will go home. Unfortunately, well, there we go. Trying to get those race results back up. Alan Dobbs in 4th position, and Jesse Gordon just behind him by a couple tenths of a second. He'll finish in 5th. Al Likens able to recover his day on that strategy. He'll get 6th, top 10 for him. Davis Greenwell falls back to 7th. Then it's Fitzsimmons who's going to top off with fuel. He led the last 20 or so laps and had to bring it down pit road, running out at the end. Tristan Pena, top 10 day. Unfortunate there for him, but still a solid night. And Johnny DePasquale rounding out your top 10. Galen Wunsch will finish in 11th, where he started here tonight. Quentin Stewart from 8th up to 3rd, back to 12th. Fred Pennington, solid day, was up in the top 5. Fred Pennington's going to come home in 13th. Tony Burlington, 14th. Picklesheimer, one of the tough breaks of the night, 2 laps down, made a mistake there. He's going to finish in 15th. Mitchell Costner, 17th. Nathan Line, a lot of damage on that right front. He'll finish in 17th position. Ryan Philbrick also damaged. Brent Allen, our lap 5 caution. He'll finish 19th. Early exit for him. Jeremiah Nelson damaged bad enough to not be able to finish this one for the top 20. Austin Dowdy took an early exit as well, with John Walker and Wyatt Walker, who was totaled on the backstretch out of turn 2, rounding out your field. But now it's time to talk to your top 3, and we have live camera feeds from all these drivers. The first one we're going to pull into the broadcast booth is your race winner. Did you hear that correctly? Race winner, Austin Thomas. We got the celebration there in the post-race. Man, you definitely deserved this one. You pulled the strategy off. You outsmarted these guys, and you come home with a top 5 start. You led, maybe 5 laps here tonight to round it off?
Yeah, I think so. That was, man, I'm so pumped. I don't even know what to say.
Well, let's start with how this race began. We had some, drivers getting loose, hitting the outside wall. You had even made a mistake there at one point. You had got up into the outside wall when I think it was Dobbs had caught up to you. Did you get nervous with those guys in your mirror at any point? It seemed like every time the leaders or the cars that were maybe a lap down coming back to get it a lap back, it seemed like that car got really loose.
Yeah, just the dirty air was just terrible. I didn't necessarily get nervous when Dobbs was behind me. Of course, it's Dobbs, absolute monster of a driver. But as soon as somebody would get up right on your rear bumper and you try to exit, the back end of the car was just so loose. So that was, of course, my mistake. But yeah.
Well, to top it off, we kind of went on board with you there in those last few laps, and I'd started to realize what was happening. I knew you could stretch maybe another 3 or 4 laps, but the numbers that were given to me was about 72, 73, and you could stretch it maybe to 77 or 78, but that was pushing it. And once I saw that Pennington and Fitzsimmons came down pit road, I knew it was going to you if it stayed green. Talk about that. From my perspective, it looks easy, but you realize that as a driver, it's got to be a wave of emotion.
Yeah, it was. I looked down at like lap 102, and I was like, man, I don't know if I can make it another 18, 19 laps on these tires. And then ended up checking my fuel, and I was about a lap and a half short of fuel too. So I ended up having to save really hard, short shifting, staying out of the high RPMs. And then whenever Dobbs and Jesse Gordon went around, I was like, ugh, they might be able to catch me. So I just had to really manage my race there at the end, and it ended up paying off with the strategy. And 1, 2, 3 finish for the turn 1 tsunami. Super stoked about that.
Yeah, you guys communicating well and working that strategy. Congratulations again. And you punch your ticket into the round of 16. I know that it's kind of like a late season punch, but it puts you up there probably in the top 5 in points now.
Yeah, I think so. It was kind of stinks a little bit just because I don't know if I'm going to be able to make the playoffs or not. I'm probably going to be going to Police Academy here soon. But it's my first win in QSR. Super happy about it. Couldn't be happier. So.
And a lot of moments here on V-Speed. It's actually kind of hard to believe that you're saying that because we've had a lot of moments where it's, 10 to go, you're up front, you're leading the race, and then a caution comes out. It's been a lot of scenarios. You've well-deserved. You've stuck it through, put it all together. Congratulations, Austin Thomas. Anybody you want to shout out while we have you?
Of course, I want to shout out all my family, of course. They're watching every week, as always. Shout out Turn 1 Tsunamis, and of course, our sponsor, 5 Hour Energy, for helping put this car on the track. So, yeah.
Austin Thomas victorious. Hopefully the Police Academy understands what the playoffs mean to you, and we can see you back out here when we go to Las Vegas there in a couple weeks.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bradley. Appreciate you.
So now moving on to our second place finisher, it's going to be Ethan Wisnowski. And I'm also going to give Wisnowski driver of the day. It was tied between most positions gained here. So I'm going to go ahead and give this driver of the day to Ethan Wisnowski because of my balance and my bias here on V-Speed. I got to give it to you instead because Terry Labonte throwbacks are just awesome anyway. And usually you're in, a Terry or a Hendrick Cars themed drive anyway. But this was the perfect one for Darlington.
Oh, yeah. This is my favorite throwback ever, probably. Always a Terry fan growing up, and now, Larson, obviously, just best of both worlds, really.
So let's go back to the strategy. Turn 1 Tsunamis all communicate that we're going to do this on this lap, and we're going to run this thing out to the very end. Did you have faith in this strategy? I mean, you were kind of far back from a lot of this top 5, top 10, and earlier in the race, you had stayed out to kind of set this strategy up to even be possible. All 3 of you guys had stayed out there, and I'm going to be honest with you, I was kind of doubting it. We had a lot of cautions in the start of this race, but it took that call of staying out and taking that break and falling out of the top 10 to make this work.
Yeah, this is by far we practiced the most for this. And obviously just kind of knew we weren't fast enough to win on sequence with everyone, so just did pretty much whatever we could to stay off sequence. Pitted at pretty much the perfect time, the very last caution, and planned to run it green regardless, and just the longer it stayed green, the better. If it did caution at a certain point when they were a lap down, we were still going to be all right, but it ran green all the way through. It was perfect.
Yeah, and that was the other part, that running green all the way through for the last, I think, was somewhere around 70 laps or so. That put everybody in that window of fuel where you guys had pitted on that last caution. It took the hit on track position. It was perfect.
Yep. The fuel, it said on the second to last run, if you pit now, you're good. And nobody really capitalized on it, I guess, just timing thing. You never know if you knew when the cautions fly, you'd know how to win the race.
Well, if we had the crystal ball here at QSR when the cautions were going to fly, I mean, this is one of the toughest racetracks that you guys have on the schedule, and we had one of the lowest caution counts in the season. So congratulations on that. Congratulations on a podium finish. Ethan, I know a lot of people support you, and you help support this league. Go ahead and shout out all of those people that are involved.
Yeah, I want to thank my teammates for sure, and the whole Turn 1 Tsunamis. I want to thank sponsor tonight, the Wanted Goons. Thank Quentin for all his effort. And just thank really everyone tonight. Everyone did really well. And then, this is my favorite track. It's my home track. Just a great night, really, by everybody.
And you got up here in the V-Speed booth. Ethan Wisnowski, second place. You led 2 laps. You came from 20th to gain 18 positions. Driver of the day, podium finish. We'll see you next week at Kentucky. And finally, we get to talk to Christian Ruckriegel in the number 33. He is the last of our podium finishers. But another one of those throwback schemes, and I guess I got to ask you exactly. Well, I still have the wrong camera. Here we go. There we go. We got Ruckriegel. I'm not used to having a camera with you here, Christian. So
no. Yeah,
first off,
I had to throw it on for this.
It's been a while. First of all, since I got to see your face. I think it was Nashville back in June that I got to see you. So now we have you up on the live feed. You get a podium finish, and I was asking Ethan about this. The call that you guys made to take the hit on track position at a track that was so tough to pass on, and just have faith that this race was going to go green to the end. You were going to make it on fuel, and you would make up the positions in the last 10 laps of this race. A lot of faith in your teammates there.
Yeah. I mean, I know every race we've gone into this year, we've always said, hey, we can save tires, we can do fuel saving, at least on my side, but never always had the outright pace to win. So when we get those opportunities, we seize them, and we always try to play the strategy game while we can. So it worked out for us tonight, and we're happy about it. We got 1, 2, 3. Man, tires didn't fall off like we thought they would. We just cruised around and kept it going, and it worked good. We love it.
Well, I'll ask you the same question I asked Ethan. Is it surprising to you that this is one of the toughest racetracks that we've came to all season long? We had the lowest caution count, ran 72 laps out to the end to make this strategy work. Does that surprise you at all?
It does, to be honest. Yeah. Especially, I mean, you know, people were hitting the wall every lap. I think I was following a few cars where they didn't go a single lap without smacking the wall. So, it was fun, but it got a little dicey there a few times. We had a few lapped cars lapping or trying to unlap us from the back. They were passing us, and there's a few little dicey moments, but we just said, hey, if we keep it going, we keep it pointed straight, we keep it off the wall, we'll finish good. And we had to have a lot of faith that the rest of the guys in this league would do the same and wouldn't bring out the yellow. And hey, we got a good group of guys here, so we made it happen.
You come off of turns 4. You have Alan Dobbs in the mirror. He's gotten up to you by about 3/4 of a second. I know the nerves are probably getting a little higher with each lap. Congratulations on holding him off. Congratulations on the podium finish and coming from 21st for 18 positions gained. Christian Ruckriegel, the floor is yours for anybody you want to shout out.
I just really want to shout out all my Turn 1 Tsunami teammates. You know, we got Ethan, Dowdy, and Austin all doing a good job tonight. Dowdy kind of had a little early exit of the night, but we did what we needed to do, get it done. I'd like to thank our sponsors, 5 Hour Energy. We also had Tylenol Autism on the car tonight, and you know, for autism awareness, everybody, it's a thing. And I'd also like to thank the Wand Goons for sponsoring tonight's race. That was very nice of them.
Christian Ruckriegel, podium finish here, and not quite done with your camera feed just yet, but thumbs up, and we'll see you next week at Kentucky.
Oh, I'll be back for sure.
There you have it. Top 3 finishers here tonight. And as mentioned before, we have plenty of racing left to be done in this season. It's on to Kentucky Speedway for the final race of the regular season here for QSR Simulations. You can catch that at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday nights. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You'll never miss a single race here on VSpeed. We have other action to continue. The one at Goons 160 was fun. Hope you guys enjoyed it. But Wednesday, we will have 2 races with Goat Locker Racing and Racing Revolution in the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series coming up at Kansas Speedway. For everybody that made this possible, Dougie Beard for providing the cameras here tonight. Our co-owners, Adam Baker, Eddie Smith, Morgan Cook. Also have to add Logan Threlkeld, Lucas Lyons, and our newest producer, Alex Gagnon. This is Bradley Cooper saying so long from Darlington. We'll see you next week at Kentucky. Stay tracking, everybody.